Hello and welcome to Celebrating Simple Life. I'm Kimberly and I've been planning parties and incredible events for the past 15 years. I'm passionate about connecting people, making gatherings purposeful, and making the most out of every moment. Join me as we learn together how to find joy, celebrate the simple things in life, use events to grow your business, entertain with purpose, and have a whole lot of fun along the way. Cheers to Celebrating Simple Life. Before I introduce today's guest, I want to feature a share on Instagram stories from Creations by JYXE. I'm loving the Celebrating Simple Life podcast she shares, and she shared an awesome graphic of Laura Woodward and I on Instagram from last week. And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to share this on your Instagram stories, spreading the love for the podcast, and helping this podcast grow. So if you could please email Kimberly@celebratingsimplelife.com to receive your free gift, that would be amazing. The continued support, ratings, reviews, and sharing screenshots of podcast episodes that were engaging for you on your Instagram stories and tagging friends that you think should hear this episode too makes me so happy as I strive to connect stories of business and women and just growing and learning life together. Today on Celebrating Simple Life, the podcast, I'm chatting with Annissa Cheyne, owner of Sweet Wheat Bakeshop. We are chatting all about life as an entrepreneur, how she got into the world of baking, and how her experience on the Big Bake holiday on the Food Network has changed her world. Our conversation is so much fun, so tune in. Hello, Annissa, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, I am so happy to have you here today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
We have so much to talk about.
We
so
do.
much has been happening.
I know, it's been a busy couple weeks.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's the season of Christmas and
Yes.
we're all getting excited.
The holidays.
Yes, which maybe aren't exciting for some people, but I love holidays. I even sported my Christmas sweater for you today while we're recording. I'll take a picture of that later because it's a pretty unique one. So I am so excited to hear about your, not only just the excitement that's been happening in the last few weeks with everything going on with you, but just kind of how you got started as an entrepreneur and how Sweet Wheat Bakeshop became to be. So yeah, tell me how this all started for you.
So I kind of just stumbled into it. In university, I left high school. I was pursuing pharmacy.
So not at all the baking route.
No,
okay.
I grew up in a small town, so I didn't really think that baking was kind of a career that was possible.
Right.
I took a basic beginner decorating class in university at a craft store. From there, I started posting on my social media, got order after order in my dorm room. So I switched from university. I was failing chem anyway.
So that was like enough motivation for you to be like, you know what? I'm on the wrong path here. Let's switch it up.
So I
love that.
To a business degree. So.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
That's great. What a great fit.
Yeah. I always heard like you can do anything with a business degree. So I was like, well, okay, like if anything, I guess it'll be open-ended and I can find something that I can maybe enjoy if baking doesn't work out. So
that's right. Yeah. So you start getting these orders in your dorm rooms and you're just, where are you baking at this point? I
was at the University of Regina. Legally in Saskatchewan, you can bake out of your home. So it wasn't an issue. I didn't need to rent commercial kitchen space or anything like that. So I just kind of, got my groundwork and learned recipes and taught myself techniques and learned through YouTube and family and friends. All of a sudden, clients turned into strangers and it kind of grew from there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So as these orders are coming in and you're realizing that this is more than just a little something, how did you decide to actually launch a business out of this instead of just keeping on going down your degree business route and making stuff for family and friends?
For sure. I'm such a hesitant person. So I've always been cautious about it, but I guess a couple news interviews. I was interviewed on Global for wedding cakes. I didn't feel like an expert by any means back then. I think I was like 22 years old, but it just little things kept happening and pushing me in that direction, and I couldn't ignore I couldn't ignore it. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite kind of stories, because I think that sometimes life can feel so busy and there's so much on the go that you don't listen to those little nudges that keep coming up, and sometimes you could like miss really cool opportunities because you're just like, oh well, whatever, this is really nothing. But I love that you listen to that. That's great.
Typically ignore it a lot, but it's just too strong to ignore. So
there's a lesson there for you, right? Listen to it, right? Because look what can happen.
Exactly.
That's so cool. So when did you actually start Sweet Wheat Bakeshop then, as like an official business?
I was under a different name, but I kind of officially like went into it full tilt kind of about 1.5 years ago. I had moved back from BC. I had spent 8 months out there working in a little cake shop, which was amazing. And then I came home and I decided I need to really push this harder, see where I can take it. So
that's great. I love that. So were there things that obviously feet on the ground and like working right in a cake shop, I'm sure sort of really like broadened the things that you were maybe learning from a business sense, which obviously wasn't in university necessarily teaching you your techniques on baking.
No, for sure. After university, I got a job as a marketing manager. So I was kind of in the corporate world. I wasn't super happy. I did a few cakes on the side, but wasn't pushing it super hard. And then I decided to take the leap and go out to BC and be in the baking world, because I mean, opportunities here are limited for working in those settings. And I loved it, and it just kind of solidified that, like, this is what I want to do.
Oh, that's so great. So then you came back, and you're like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Going all in.
Going all in to some extent. I still have a full-time job, but I would say that baking is basically a full-time job, too.
Right. So, yeah, totally. So you're trying to juggle it all. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So what would you say in the last 1.5 years then, as you've been navigating the world of entrepreneurship and running your own business, besides the fact of working a full-time job as well, what would you say would be like some of the good and the bad moments that have come from owning your own business versus just kind of doing something like this for fun?
For sure. I would say the good is just everyone's reactions to what I do. It's been nothing but positive. I feel so fortunate and so lucky. People are so sweet, and I feel like even my clients or my workshop participants, like I feel like I find the sweetest people in Saskatchewan. And that's just been really rewarding to have so much support. The bad, I would say, work-life balance. I'm absolutely terrible at work-life balance. I feel like I'm on the verge of a burnout right away here. So it's just hard to navigate that as an entrepreneur. And you want to go harder, you want to do more, but you really have to be realistic about what you can handle as a single person.
Well, and don't you find that it almost is like a day-by-day type of scenario where like one day you're just feeling on top of the world and you're like, I got this. Yeah. We can do this forever. And then the next day you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
I'm done. I quit. No, for
I'm
sure.
over. Totally. It is, but I think that's like part of the reason why I love the community of the business women, well, even within my podcast community and with just business women in general, how you really got to find your people, and it's the support that you can feel from other people that are maybe doing not the same type of business necessarily, but in a journey that might be similar.
To some extent. Yeah, no, everyone has those issues with the certain clients, or, you know, trying to juggle family life, and you're not alone. It's the same for everyone, and I think those highs and lows are what's almost addicting about being an entrepreneur. So
totally, that's so true. I know, because everybody who wouldn't maybe be an entrepreneur would be like, why do you do this, right? I get that question asked to me all of the time. I'm like, there are times I do wonder, you know, you do question yourself, and you're like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be. Totally. But most of the time, I'm like, it's just like you're just compelled to push yourself and to try new things, and the ideas just keep flooding you, right?
Be on your own path and not, it's bizarre. You can't really explain it, but
because you've never worked harder than you ever have when this like life could be easier.
It could be. I do feel like entrepreneurship sometimes is glorified in that, well, you run your own hours. You can do whatever you want.
So much
basically.
freedom and flexibility.
Not really though, because I feel like it takes a special person to do it, and you really have to be disciplined and thinking about your next move and your next month and your next year.
Well, and it's hard sometimes to not get caught up on, oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing this, and like just seeing all the things that you feel like you're maybe not doing when you're supposed to kind of be the jack of all trades in your business, and not only run your business by like making the product and offering the services, but also the back end of it all of running the business, right? Which
that's the hard part
could
too.
be 10 people deep sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Totally. So you recently had some super exciting activity, I guess you could say, that allowed you to have a little bit more media presence.
Yes.
So for those of you listeners who maybe you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard all of this cool news on social media, but you should definitely follow Sweet Wheat Bakeshop on Facebook and Instagram if you don't already, because just looking at the pictures alone is like enough to follow. They're drool worthy. But you had a really cool experience on the Big Bake holiday on the Food Network.
Yes. So The Big Bake is a new series airing on the Food Network, as you just mentioned. It was absolutely incredible. I could not believe that I was a contestant. I grew up watching those shows, but I never actually dreamed or thought that could be me.
I love this. So I feel like sometimes when I'm hearing people tell a story, I hear the parts of the story that are sort of already publicized, and I'm like, I want to know like how this all happened. Like, how do these things come about? Because exactly what you said, I think a lot of people listening, not that everybody needs to go out and be on a television show, but everyone listening, I think you can like doubt yourself sometimes of being like, oh, I'm not worthy for an experience, or I shouldn't even apply or try or compete or go into something that feels scary because you don't want to be felt that you aren't worthy, or worried that you'll prove yourself right or something.
Well, and you don't know if you're on that level, really.
That's right. Yeah. You don't. And when you're watching from home, I watch these shows with my girls all the time. We love the holiday baking shows, and it's like a revolving constant thing on the series on TV and what comes out on Netflix.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see them and you're like, okay, these seem like regular people, but how do they get to the point of actually like getting on the show, right?
Exactly.
So I would love to hear the process. So how did you, I know you have won a number of other awards and have been in some like kind of cool, unique competitions in different parts of the world.
Yes.
And across Canada as well. And so how did you decide if obviously you've applied for things before, so this wasn't the first time that you've like been a part of like putting yourself out there, I guess. But how have you in the past decided to be a part of some of these like competitions and events that you've done, as well as now right here?
Every time I do an opportunity like this, I hover over the submit button for days. Like
I always hanging there.
I'm like, is this right for me? Should I do this? But it always ends up being a matter of, I need to push myself. I'll grow from this. Yes, it'll be uncomfortable. Like there's always going to be those days where you don't want to put yourself out there, but I've grown from every opportunity. The Food Network, so it was something that I never thought that was even possible. I didn't know how those people got on there, as you said. I didn't know that it was an application process. They actually reached out to me. I don't know what hashtag I must have used on Instagram, but they found my Instagram.
That's flattering.
Yeah, yeah. I got this email from producers, and they said, hey, we think that your work is great. We'd encourage you to apply. So I actually waited about a week.
Well, I guess because it's a new series as well.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't something that we would have really watched before because it wasn't even in existence yet.
Exactly. Well, and that information wasn't really public yet until you kind of got to the next step. So I didn't know if this was a scam or...
Right? Isn't that what you... That's exactly what I would do too. That's what I first assumed too. You're like, is this for real?
Yeah,
Can this actually happen?
You always get those funny messages on social media that you're like, okay.
Yeah, like, totally. Your like spidey senses go up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you don't want to do anything crazy, but yeah, interview after interview, all of a sudden our flights were booked and it was happening. So
wow.
Yeah.
So you've applied now, and what was the lead up time to you finding out that you were accepted and being on to, hey, pack your bags, you're flying here tomorrow?
It was just a matter of a couple weeks.
Okay, so it was all happened really fast.
Yeah, really fast. I had to rearrange work. Thankfully, I didn't cancel any orders. I didn't have to. I probably should have for my own mental sanity,
but there we go again. Life of an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
You're like, I just want everyone to be happy.
Exactly. And I couldn't say, hey, I'm going on a TV show, because there was so much confidentiality behind it, which was tricky and tough. Because, when you're sitting down with your friends, they're like, oh, what's new? Nothing really. Yeah.
Totally. Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. That kind of puts you in a little bit of a tough spot when you're used to like sharing obviously exciting news.
Like the biggest thing I've ever done, and you couldn't speak to it up until about a couple weeks ago. So
wow. I can't imagine how hard that must have been. So then you jump on a flight. So did you go on your own? Were you able to bring somebody with you, or?
I brought 2 teammates. I took some local girls, my baking friends. Trisha is actually my mom's next door neighbor.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And I always knew of her business Instagram name, Sharp Tooth Treats. She's incredibly talented, does great fondant work, amazing details. Her cookies are incredible. So I knew I needed her. And then Janelle from Artisan Sweets. She's a trained pastry chef. She trained out in Vancouver, so I knew that our flavors would be incredible.
A balanced skill set
between the
3 of you. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they joined me. I think they were a little hesitant at first, but
you were able to seal the deal.
I left them no choice. We had a couple of days, so
yeah, you don't have enough time to worry about it, right? It's too fast.
Yeah.
So you guys jet out. So where does this show film?
It was filmed in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah. By Architect Films. They were incredible. Every crew member was amazing. And yeah, it was a whirlwind of a trip. We flew out the one day, filmed the next, and then flew home the next. So
it was all within like a weekend style of days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it didn't make it hard to sneak away and not tell anyone.
Totally. You're just going on a little getaway. No big deal.
No one needed to know.
No, totally. Yeah. You're not gone for like 3 weeks being like, I gotta really pound the pavement in Toronto for a few weeks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So you get there and did you see like where you were, how was it like when you first went to the set and saw the kitchen setups? Like, were you like, is this even for real?
It's an absolute dream. A total dream. Yeah, no, like the pantry, the ingredients, the opportunities,
you, like,
the
came
colors.
Home and, like, remodeled your house so that you could like make your pantry tempting. Like that.
Yeah, no, like the sprinkle wall, like it was just incredible. It was an absolute dream to be able to bake in that setting.
So it looks as good in real life as they make it look on TV.
Even better. Yeah.
I love that. So what did you have to do when you get there and then the morning of?
Yeah.
What was the process like in actually arriving on set and being like, now what? You must have just like had your heart beating out of your chest.
It was crazy. Like the whole thing still feels like an outer body experience. Like I don't feel like I actually did it, but we got to kind of the production studio, changed into our t-shirts and our aprons, had a little bit of hair and makeup. They put my hair back. I usually always have it down, so
right.
they put it back a little, and then a couple, like I guess the tour, we did a video shoot and a photo shoot, just for our graphics that we could share beforehand to promote and stuff. And then, before you knew it, that 5 hours had started and you were into full bake
rolling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So had you and the ladies, had you guys as your crew, did you sit down and chat about some ideas and things you wanted to do prior to getting to the show? Or how, when you're in that window of 5 hours, and I can only imagine this, my daughters and I, as we're sitting watching on the couch, we're like, ooh, like we're stressed. Yeah. We're sitting there eating our snacks, watching TV, no cares in the world. Totally. I can only imagine the stress levels there.
It was so intense. We knew it was a holiday theme going in, but we didn't know any other details. You kind of have to wait until you're there to see what inspiration they give you and kind of direction.
Because they don't want you pre-planning stuff.
No.
They want it to be off the cuff.
Our theme was Frosty Friends.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to survey what materials we had, what tools they had to work with, and then go from there. And luckily it was Frosty Friends and Saskatchewan animals, and I mean, we live in a winter wonderland, so it wasn't hard to come up with ideas on the spot. So
wow, that's wild.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. So then the process starts and you guys are just going, and had you like discussed ahead of time like how you're going to stay on track in regards to timing of things. Like I can imagine there's sort of certain elements that have to be done in the right order in order to get you're done in the time frame.
Definitely,
right?
Yeah. We had to chat a lot about just, you're going to do this and then I'm going to do this. And they didn't really show much of that just because, I mean,
it's so fast.
It's condensed into an hour episode. So
make us look like a breeze.
No one wants to listen to all your planning out things. They just want to see what you create.
So was that included in, like, did you have time prior then, before actually your time starting for it, to sit down then once you knew it there? Or it was just like, go?
On the spot, go. And yeah, that 5 hours was the quickest 5 hours of my life.
You blinked your eyes. And
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
We're done.
No, like you didn't want to stop for a washroom break. You hardly wanted to grab a glass of water. Like it was absolutely crazy.
Now or never.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Wow. So how was so were you able to meet the other contestants that were on the show with you, like, prior? Or did you?
Just the morning of and before, kind of when we were doing, like, taking turns doing the video shoot.
Right.
We sat down and chatted and, like, followed each other on Instagram, which honestly freaked me out because both of those teams were so talented. Pam was from Kentucky, and she owns a bakery, has competed before on these shows, is so talented. And then Chef Blake is from Chicago, and he owns, I want to say, 3 or 4 bakeries.
Wow.
He's competed before, toured the States, judging competitions. So I was like, oh my goodness, like, we are so over our head. Like, I only do cakes part-time. Like, let's pack our bags and kind of get out of here. Like, it was quite intimidating. But I tried to not let that get to my head.
Right. You're like, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. It's okay. Like,
yeah.
And honestly, win or lose, I was not concerned. It was just the experience, and I just wanted to do well and be proud of our work after.
You know me, and I truly believe that there are ways to celebrate every single day. One of the ways I like to treat myself is with a beautiful and meaningful piece of jewelry from Elizabeth Lynn. Elizabeth Lynn has been creating stunning collections for a number of years, and their most recent launch of the Cosmos collection has blown me away. I have already been wearing my Venus necklace every single day, and I don't want to take it off. The delicate layering pieces within all of her collections all seamlessly work together to make each piece timeless. Elizabeth Lynn is the kind of company that you just feel good supporting, because once you do, you are part of the family forever. From necklaces, bracelets, earrings, these pieces can go from day-to-day wear to a night out with your girlfriends perfectly. Each piece is handmade with love by designer and owner, Megan Hammond. She is a one-of-a-kind kind of gal, just like her collection, and trust me on this one, you want to know her and become a part of the Elizabeth Lynn tribe. You can find all of her beautiful collections online at elizabethlynn.ca, as well as in a variety of retail stores across Saskatchewan. She ships her beautiful pieces all over the world, and now is the perfect time to peruse all of the beautiful products just in time for Christmas shopping. Treat yourself or someone who means the world to you by giving them a timeless piece, locally created and made with the utmost care. And as a value member of the Celebrating Simple Life community, get this, you get an exclusive code to receive 15% off your entire order. 15% off your entire order, ladies. You can get a jump start on your holiday shopping by clicking over to elizabethlynn.ca and use the code CELEBRATE15 at checkout to receive your discount. That's elizabethlynn.ca and use the code CELEBRATE15 because today is a great day to celebrate. Once the time is up and you guys are throwing your hands of this and you've got it done,
yeah.
In that moment, were you like, yes, this is like exactly how I wanted this to look? Or, oh, wow, I wish we had another 3 hours to finish this all up.
I could have used another 12 hours.
Right.
Like, I'm such a perfectionist. But I mean, in that time frame, I was so proud of what we did accomplish. Yeah, there's only so much, you have to be realistic about your design and then almost cut that in half because things go wrong, mistakes happen, our cake underbaked, our structure wasn't perfect, so you just have to, it is what it is, and you just put your heart out there and you do what you can. So
Right. Mm-hmm. That's wild. So what during those 5 hours was the like scariest moment that happened of something that came up that was wrong that you were like, oh boy, this is it?
Yeah. I would say our cake, like it was full liquid, the one half of it. We used kind of a pan that maybe we shouldn't have. We weren't super familiar with it. And yeah, so our cake was liquid, and that was our bonus bake. So yeah, we kind of trimmed what we could and made do, thank goodness. But I would say the most nerve-wracking part was the structure on the bear. It was definitely leaning forward and its legs were cracking and crushing, and I didn't know if we would come back and it'd be totally fallen over, like, and that would have totally ruined our whole entire scene. Yeah, no, like it, without the bear, there wasn't like a story. So
totally.
Yeah, so I was very concerned.
What happens? So once you're done and you have your thing and you leave, you're saying you leave your cake, you have it all done and ready to go, and you have to leave the room and leave your cake sitting there, and you're just hoping for the best.
Well, we had one teammate babysit it at all times. But yeah, you just, there's nothing you can do. You can't prop it back up if it does fall over because time's up.
Time's up. That
is it. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then what happened? So did you guys have to go to, obviously the way they condense things on the show makes it look like it's all just flowing in warp speed time because they're editing it right after. But in the long process of it, was there a period of time from when you were done that you had to go wait prior to having the scene, I guess, in front of judges where you're presenting your work?
It was very limited.
Okay.
Yeah. They the whole day kind of just flowed together. It was not a lot of downtime.
Not a lot of downtime.
No.
Okay. So then they call you back. They call you in, or you're all ready to present. And what in the world is going through your mind at this point? Like you're all standing there.
Yeah.
Like literally, fate is in the hands of the judges.
And what you say, it was nerve-wracking to kind of answer how they wanted, and just to hear their critiques, I guess. Like, you don't know if they're going to absolutely hate what your cake tastes like.
So was there anything that they said to you that surprised you or made you feel really good, or something different maybe that wasn't even shown on air, or something that you were like, okay, wow, yeah, I should be here. Oh, please don't say that to me. You're crushing my spirits.
No, actually they were so sweet and very constructive with what they had to say. Our ganache was too thick on the one cake, our s'mores cake. And we did have a little bit of our board that was showing, that was mentioned in the episode. So that was absolutely fair criticism for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So then the moment comes, and they're ready to announce the winner.
Yes.
And are you like nearly needing to run out of the room because you can't even stand still?
Honestly, it was such a long day that I was so excited to just hear.
Like, just let this be over already.
Well, no, not necessarily. Like, I never wanted that day to end.
Right.
But win or lose, like, I whatever was said was going to be fine because those other two talented teams deserved it just as much as we did.
Right.
So I was going to be just as happy if someone else won.
Right. So then they announced the winner.
Yes.
And what on earth is going through your mind?
I couldn't believe it. Like it
like,
still,
repeat it again. Like, was that for real?
It still feels like a dream. So
was watching the episode back, was that like feeling like you watched it or were a part of it for the first time because it was so out of body experience?
It was and it wasn't. Like so many memories flashed back.
Right.
And things that they didn't show. Or like I did break a nail at one point and like just like so many flashbacks, but at the same time I didn't remember a lot of things. Like,
it was kind of blurry, but sort of clear too.
Yeah, like there was one point where I said, at least I haven't cried yet. And I'm like, oh God, of course I said that. Like, like you don't remember. Just you're so busy, you're so in the moment, you're trying so hard that you're not even conscious anymore about what you look like,
right? What
you say, how you say it. So
did you feel like you were always aware that there was cameras like filming, or do you feel like that just like was disappeared once the stress of it all like started up?
It disappeared, I would say. Yeah.
That's how
like,
you get good TV, right? Because then you forget that you need to like make sure that you're being appropriate.
You're too in the moment, and like they were so respectful about your space that it wasn't
like
it wasn't a hindrance.
In your face. No, totally.
No, you were there to do what you had to do. So.
Oh, I love that. So, what has happened for you, and how has life sort of turned course or been a little bit different since having this really unique experience that for some people they'll never have this in a lifetime.
I know.
And you've now sort of walked through what was like a little girl dream of yours, probably.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah, I know.
So how have things been different? You come back, you fly back to Saskatoon. Okay, first and foremost, now you have to be secretive again. How many weeks was it from when you got back to when it aired and you were allowed to talk about it?
So we actually filmed in July.
Oh my goodness!
It was like Christmas in July, so it was quite the time. You just kind of had to put it out of your...
like just pretend it didn't happen for right now.
I could scroll back and look at the pictures, but as far as I was concerned, it hadn't happened.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like since coming back, Saskatchewan is the best place in the world. Like
I couldn't agree more.
We have had so much support from strangers, from family, from media, from I have never seen a bad word said, and it's just been incredible. I've had quite a few interviews since then. CBC Global, CKOM, CTV. I can't thank this province enough. I've never felt more loved, more supported, more compelled to bake more. So,
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. So once your episode aired and you were actually what was the reaction to maybe some of your closer family, friends, people around you who were like, oh my goodness, how on earth did you keep this a secret?
Yeah.
Or how dare you keep this a secret from me?
Well, there was mixed reaction. My friends and family were appalled that I had not told them.
Right.
But I was never going to break.
They raised an honest girl who keeps her promises.
Was not gonna break that secret. So, but the reaction was a lot of, oh, I knew you'd do this one day, or I knew you guys would win. And it's just so nice to hear that people think that highly of your work, I guess.
Right, totally.
So, my phone the next day, I went into work at Children's Wish, and my phone had died by 10:30 because it was notification after notification after notification. The amount of shares, the amount of comments, the amount of messages, the amount of phone calls, I knew, I have an amazing support base, and I knew that people would be incredible, but it absolutely blew me away.
Wow, that's so amazing. Mm-hmm. So what now, as you've now that it's aired and it's out there and you finally don't need to keep this all in anymore, do you feel like the things that you've learned from doing this and having such a cool experience, like you mentioned, it sort of has refreshed and energized your love of baking? And obviously we are in the season of baking, I mean, year round, with all of the beautiful things you do. Every day is a reason to have beautiful baking, but Christmas always to me feels like an extra time of year where baking is just like a part of tradition and coziness and
the
Christmas.
Smells, the sweets, sure.
Absolutely. So are there things that you've done differently in your business, or things that you're thinking differently now after having an experience like this, in how you promote yourself, or in how you are moving forward, or maybe the types of products you're offering, or how has this felt different now after being back and having it out and the world knows?
I guess it was just a major confidence boost. I haven't really had time to sit down and think
process this all.
What maybe direction I should go in next, what products I should offer, I haven't really had time to think about it yet. It's just been such a whirlwind.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what would be the main services? So you definitely you started doing mainly cakes.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And the things that I've seen on your Instagram, your cookies are just my favorite.
Thank you.
Are so beautiful. Look like you shouldn't even eat them.
A lot of people don't want to.
They're like an artwork. Can we please just preserve these forever and not eat them? No, they're so beautiful though. And would you say that there's certain things that are your favorites to make, when obviously you love what you do, so maybe it's all fun, but
I primarily make custom cakes and cookies, but when I have a long week of doing cookies, then I'm happy to switch back to cake. So I kind of love them equally.
Keeps it interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's kind of the product base that I want to stick with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, because I agree, less is more.
Yeah.
You don't need 50,000 offerings in order to get things all cluttered and confused, right?
No.
It's basic, to the point. This is what it is.
I know my recipes. I know that I am good at them, I think. So
I would say so. Yes.
So yeah, I know I have lots of people saying like, what's your menu? But I'm just not at that stage yet. So cakes or cookies, take your pick.
Cakes or cookies, yeah. Take your pick.
Yeah.
So I know that you do a lot of like personal projects for people where they're doing some sort of celebration or something, but you do lots of corporate events as well, right? Where corporate companies or different things are either getting their logos or getting something cool like monogrammed or detailed onto a cookie.
Yeah, no, I can literally do anything. It's kind of corporate holiday season right now, so last night I baked over 600 cookies. Between this week and next, I just counted again, over 1,200, which I'm not going to sleep. Yeah. But I mean, it's such an honor to be considered and to get those orders. So
that's so amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing. So, one more thing in regards to the services. I know you were talking about the products you offered, but you also offer like services like workshops for people to learn how to do the things that seem to come very naturally to you and maybe don't to everybody else. So what kind of workshops and services do you offer? And do you have any like coming up now during the holidays that people could participate in?
Yeah, so after I took that basic cake decorating class in university, they since canceled those, and I always wanted to teach since then because I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have that opportunity. And like little did I know that would kind of change my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always wanted to teach since then. I took up teaching, I guess, last October, just cookie decorating so far. The classes, except for I think one because it was a busy time, all sold out. Like the response has been incredible. I just posted 3 more this morning, so those are up on Eventbrite if you wanted to take a peek.
I'll link all of the social tags in the show notes so that people can find your stuff in the workshops. So is this for all ages, or is this for just adults, or?
More so adults. I have had lots of questions about kids courses. So in the future, I'd love to branch out into kids workshops and as well as cake workshops. So,
that's fabulous. I just love that because I feel like that's such a great, obviously as an event planner, I always find events are such a great way to grow your business. Like there might be people who come to a workshop who haven't ever necessarily purchased from you, but they come to this and are like, oh my goodness, like your work is beautiful, and they see a different side of the business, right?
Yeah, no, their friend dragged them along and they didn't know what they were getting into, and then all of a sudden you have a new client or customer or advocate, basically. That's the cool thing about baking is you're taking those sweets and those treats to a place where there's going to be a gathering of people. So they're kind of like a talking point, and like, where'd you get that from? And that's the cool thing about the baking world is that you can really take advantage of that word of mouth.
Yes.
Which has really benefited me for sure because I don't have time to think of the social media promotions and where to spend, money promoting. It just, word of mouth has been incredible. So.
That's amazing. Well, and I love that you said that it's a perfect conversation piece for gatherings because that is literally my mantra for my business is gathering. I want people to gather. And obviously at Christmas time, that kind of happens naturally with traditions and holidays and that kind of stuff. But year round, that to me is so important. And those attention to details and those little pieces that can make a get together, whether it's 2 people, you're hanging out with your girlfriend, having a glass of wine, or big family celebration, or having a few friends over for dinner or something, can all just add to being a really cool experience and having fun cookies that are super adorable and that you're looking at. It just adds to the experience of life and makes life fun.
There's always a reason to celebrate. So.
You've said it better than I could. I love that. So to wrap this up, I always like to ask just a few questions that are sort of more personal to just you, so we can get to know who you are beyond baker extraordinaire. So obviously you mentioned that you really don't sleep very much at this time of year because of your baking cookies 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So what's one thing that you do in the morning when you wake up that if you've gone to sleep, you have to sleep in order to wake up, that kind of sets your tone for the day? How do you start in order to be like, okay, I got this?
Yeah. I find if I can get my butt out of bed to go to a workout, that really sets my tone for productivity and mood, and I find that super beneficial when that happens.
Yes, good for you.
Yeah, I love bar classes. So the local bar downtown actually has a challenge right now. So I went this morning. So that's good.
Good for you. Well, isn't that true? I know. I have gotten into the habit for the last year of walking faster. It's probably more like a jog because I have long legs and I walk really fast. 4K every morning down by the river, and I'm in my full snowsuit because I hate being cold at this time of year, and it feels like a great workout and it clears my head so much. It's more so for that reason that I do it. It just clears my head. And on days that I don't, I'm like, oh man, this just feels like I'm off.
Something's off.
Something's off. No, even if I wake up being like, I really don't feel like
just put your clothes on and go.
Yes. I lay them all out so that they're ready to go.
I do the same. Yeah.
So are you a coffee drinker? Is that part of your morning routine, or what's your beverage of choice on these cold winter days?
I'll have coffee.
Coffee? Sure. Yeah, me too. What's your favorite coffee place?
I am a Tim Hortons person.
Okay, good.
Not so much for the Starbucks, but just a simple coffee, 2 cream.
Classic Canadian Tim Hortons.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I like their dark roast too. What is something, as you're out and about and you're like jumping from work, jumping to baking and everywhere in between, that you like always have in your purse?
I was going to say something like silly like gum, but honestly, my planner. It's in my bag right now. If I don't have it, even like when I'm away on a weekend, I feel lost. I feel like I don't have my life in order. Like,
where am I?
Yeah, my to-do lists are in there. My cookie designs and sketches are in there. Like, it's just, if someone was to ever steal that, I would be lost.
Like crumble. You would be crumbling.
Life over.
Life over. Oh, I love that. I have tried so hard to go back to paper planning. I'm a digital planner.
Not at all.
And I would love to be able to reverse that so that I'm like off my devices a little bit more, because I was a paper girl. Yeah. But I'll work on that. I'll work on that. You've inspired me. What is one thing or a few things or something that you do to stay clear and focused and protect your mental health, especially as you've described how busy life is at this time of year?
Yeah.
I know you said you try to get in your workout classes, but is there something that you either treat yourself to, or something just super simple that you're like, this makes me feel like me when I allow this to...
Originally, it was kind of baking to cope with the stresses of life, but now it's more so work, and it feels like work. So I would say, I know this sounds kind of funny, but being alone. I need to be alone to recharge. I'm such an introvert that when I do put myself out there, it's,
it's energy draining.
Yeah, it's energy draining. So being alone, having a bath, a glass of wine always helps. So,
yeah, totally. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, and it's so simple. I love the answers that I've heard from podcast guests that have been on before telling me what their answers are, and every answer is different. And I love that because it can be so simple if you just take a minute.
Exactly.
But not taking that minute can sometimes cost you time elsewhere because you're just not present not yourself. Yeah. Right? I love that. So lastly, what would be one either piece of advice or tip or something that resonates with you on a regular basis that you can leave our listeners today to start their day wherever they're listening from, that has been special to you and motivates you when you need it?
I would say getting out of your comfort zone. Like anything that's propelled me forward has been uncomfortable. And nothing is out of reach. Nothing is impossible. Even being from small town Saskatchewan, and you can do anything if you want it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so true. I love that you use that as your example, because you are a perfect example of that, especially saying you're an introvert and that wouldn't necessarily be your natural tendency to just like go for it.
Not at all. At all.
But you did anyways.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah. No.
Right?
There are good things on the other end of your comfort zone for sure. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. This has been enlightening to talk to you. So definitely check the show notes so that you can follow all things Sweet Wheat Bakeshop and see all of the cool creations that are coming up this season.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I could not be more excited to let you know that Shine Summit tickets are now available. Shine Summit takes place October 1st, 2020. So you have lots of time to reflect, think about how this event might be exactly what you have been looking for. This is going to be a day that will change your life. If you are an entrepreneur or a leader in your industry, maybe you're dreaming of making changes in your life, you will not want to miss this opportunity. When you take time to invest in you, your business, it affects all the areas in your life. It benefits your family, your community, and all the relationships around you. I am literally so passionate about connecting people in ways that help them grow, and this Shine Summit is the perfect opportunity for that. I have experienced firsthand how investing in myself and in my business by attending an event such as this can absolutely change the trajectory of your life, because it has happened to me. Here's why this is powerful. Life is hard. Business is hard. And some days it honestly doesn't take much to feel like everything is going in a chaotic direction. And what is the point of putting in all of the work and effort that running a business and being a leader within your organization takes? But I'm here to tell you that Shine Summit will not only inspire you and give you all of the feels, you guys, but this Shine Summit is going to give you hands-on, tangible tools that will help directly take your life and your business to the next level. Being surrounded by like-minded individuals and those who have been in their entrepreneurial and business journeys longer than maybe you have is absolutely essential. Hearing from them, hearing their stories, hearing their mistakes, and how they're willing to share their experiences, vulnerability, and really try to help you avoid those same mistakes. We have experts from all over that are going to be coming to share their expertise and to grow together. You will be blown away by our headliner, Sarah Heron. Isn't that the girl from The Bachelor? Why, yes, it sure is. Sarah is a force to be reckoned with, and she has taken her experience of being on a public television show and putting her story out there in the world and taking her disability that she was born with and turning it into something extraordinary. She has an incredible story, an incredible business sense, and she is such an inspiring woman. And you get to hang out with her and be inspired. This summit has been created to surround you with a community of incredible women who will challenge you, help you grow and thrive, and we want to see you there. Imagine the energy, joy, and engaging lessons that you get to be a part of and incorporate those directly into your life and business in ways that are specifically tailored to you. We will be talking about leadership, marketing, social media, overcoming adversity, reinventing your business in new and unique ways. This is not the type of conference where you are just going to hear speeches and leave with a few notes. If you are struggling in finding your niche, to sell more, to organize your finances, or maybe you're even afraid to admit the things that you wish you understood in business, then this is the place for you. This is a summit where you will be challenged to be interactive, to dig deeper in order to achieve the goals that you are dreaming up. Shine Summit is being hosted in the most beautiful event space where everyone attending is there for the same purpose, to shine. These tickets are going to sell out fast, and as a listener of Celebrating Simple Life, the podcast, you are the first to know. Check out shinecollective.ca for all the juicy details. This show would not be possible without you, my incredible listeners. It would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to Celebrating Simple Life wherever you listen to podcasts. If you really want to make my day, leave a review. Each week, I will pick one review that will be read on the show, and the person who left that review will receive a special gift from me. Cheers to Celebrating Simple Life.